Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity of Windsor, and welcome to everyone joining us online. My name is Nicholas, and my co-host today is Linda.
Whatever your faith, background, race, gender, sexual orientation, age, or ability, you are welcome here. We come together to encourage and support one another in our individual spiritual journeys. Wherever you are in that process, we are glad you joined us today.
And while it is a well-traveled land, we would like to respectfully acknowledge that the land in which we gather today is the traditional territory of the Three Fires of Confederacy of First Nation, comprised of the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi peoples. And we are so grateful to work, learn, and live in this area. And I'd like to introduce our musicians today. It's our very own Michael Greaves and the band Stardust.
Thank you for being with us. And I'm glad to be hosting with Nicholas today. Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. Now we want to take a moment to sit quietly and relax as we start our morning prayer. Holy Creator, thank you for the Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor. We bless and give thanks for all that we have been given and look forward with excitement to all that is to come. We know that you have called us to a special work. Let us therefore be the hands, the feet, the heart, the voice, and the inspiration that awakens the spirit of truth in all who are drawn to this ministry. We see our center as a dynamic place of love, filled with dedicated believers, blessed with overflowing abundance. We open ourselves to your love, to your wisdom, to your creative energy, knowing it is through us and as us that your plan for this ministry unfolds. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Nicholas. Usually, we have someone available for prayer after our service every Sunday. But today, because of the general meeting after the service, there will be no prayer service available. Also, everyone should have received a little index card when you came in. So this is, you don't have to put your name on it or anything. It's for ideas that you might have for seminars. So whatever you can think of that you would like to hear about, Unity would like to accommodate you, and we would like to have different seminars on things that you would like to hear about. And so we're going to be collecting them after the service, or if you could just give them to Judy over here. She's on our seminar team. So if you could give your index card to her before you leave. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, we need to pass some of those out.
Although we don't have a prayer chaplain for today, we do have a prayer box, which is located right here in front of us. We also have a 24/7 prayer support with Silent Unity. The phone number is 1-800-NOW-PRAY.
And now it's time for some music. And it's Michael today that's going to be announcing that music.
Oh. Test, test, test. We're good. Test. All right. Okay, our first song here is right out of the 70s. It's a song you may remember. It's called Put a Little Love in Your Heart. So we'll start with that. All right. Think of your fellow man. Yeah, please stand. Stand.
Put a little love in your heart.
You see
It's getting late, oh please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. We want the world to know we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Take a look around, and if you're feeling down, put a little love in your heart. I hope that we'll decide kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart.
Ooh, thank you, thank you. That was kind of fun. Okay, speaking of fun, the next song's called the I Love You song. It's sort of like a song I like to think of that you would sing to a little child, but we can even sing it to our own inner child if we want. So there we go. Okay, and the words are very difficult, you can see. So there is an actual verse to it, which is a little more complicated, but not too bad. Okay, let's try this. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. I love you. Yes, I do. I love you through and through. I give you my heart and soul. Loving you is my only goal. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. I love you. Yes, I do. I love you through and through. When I work and play and sing, I'm loving you in everything. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. I love you. Yes, I do. I love you through and through. There's nothing that I need to be, 'cause you are all the world to me. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do.
I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, love you, love you. I love you, I do. Thank you.
Take a moment to bless our children that are here. Would the children please come up front? Okay, so we will bless them all together in spirit and mind. Come on, everybody's a child somewhere along the line, right? So let's say it together, please. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you just the way you are.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
Okay, Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor is a progressive spiritual community that emphasizes personal growth, living consciously, and making a positive difference in the world. As part of the New Thought and the Worldwide Unity Movement, we strive to be passionate, inclusive, open-minded, service-oriented, abundant, and spirit-filled.
Unity teaches that each person is a unique individual expression of God. Our realization of that truth evolves as we expand our consciousness through prayer and meditation. Unity emphasizes that we create our experience of life according to the thoughts and feelings we hold in mind. Affirmative prayer is the highest form of creative thought, while meditation stills the mind and heightens our awareness of our oneness with Spirit, each other, and all life. Living from that awareness transforms our lives and the world.
And we have a monthly affirmation, and our affirmation for January is, easily, gracefully, I release the past, that I am free in this moment for all that is possible now. Will you please affirm that with me? Easily, gracefully, I release the past, so that I am free in this moment for all that is possible now.
And now we have some special music.
Okay, special music. The song is called Morning Star.
Check.
This came to me when I was, I think, in my early 20s, so it's like 50 years old now. Morning star, oh morning star, what else can I say? Morning star, oh morning star, shine your love my way. In early morning hours, as on my bed I think about that morning star shining bright someday. beautiful each day. Morning star, oh morning star, what else can I say? Morning star, oh morning star, shine your love my way. Morning star, oh morning star, shine your love my way. Thank you.
Thank you. Here we are together again, singing the songs of love and inspiration, reminding ourselves what we are. Oh, morning star. Hello to our online audience. If they're in that little peephole right there, peeping in on us. If we all want to turn around and say, hey, welcome, glad you're here. Today, I want to celebrate two birthdays. Did you know that Martin Luther King, his birthday was January 15th? So the first Monday after his birthday is the Monday that we set aside as a holiday to commemorate and honor him and his work that he did and that he inspired in each of us. So that's how that works. So his birthday is on January 15th, and actually an esteemed person in my life, Ken Jones's birthday is January 31st. 2 January birthdays that are very important to me. So I forgot to mention this, but I want to sing happy birthday. So Mike can, okay? Or I can just do a cappella. So let's sing happy birthday to Martin Luther King and Ken Jones. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Martin and Ken. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for all your support and love, Dad, through all the years. From the very beginning, you saw me through. Here we are, still together. Yay. So the KingCenter.org describes Dr. King's vision of the beloved community as follows. The beloved community is a term that was first coined in the early days of the 20th century by the philosopher-theologian Josiah Royce, who founded the Fellowship of Reconciliation. Has anybody heard of the Fellowship of Reconciliation? So that was something that was established just in 1914 as the First World War was beginning. And there were peaceful people that were working hard at that time to change the way the world was run. So that was begun. And it was Martin Luther King, who also was a member of the Fellowship of Reconciliation. He popularized the term, the beloved community, and invested it with deeper meaning which has captured the imagination of people of goodwill all over the world. For Dr. King, the beloved community was not a lofty utopian goal to be confused with the rapturous image of the peaceable kingdom. You know, that one in which lions and lambs coexist in idyllic harmony. Rather, the beloved community was for him a realistic, achievable goal that could be attained by a critical mass of people committed to and trained in the philosophy and methods of nonviolence. Dr. King's beloved community is a global vision in which all people can share in the wealth of the earth. In the beloved community, poverty, hunger, homelessness will not be tolerated because international standards of human decency will not allow it. Racism and all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and prejudice will be replaced by an all-inclusive spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood. Love and trust will triumph over fear and hatred. Peace with justice will prevail over war and military conflict. So Martin knew that conflict was a part of human nature, but he also knew that conflict didn't have to erupt into violence. Why? Because he practiced the methods of nonviolence and nonviolent communication. The last of the 6 principles of his nonviolent way, which you can find on thekingcenter.org if you want to research this more, his 6 principles of nonviolence, is reconciliation. The King Center goes on to unpack the word reconciliation beautifully. Nonviolence seeks friendship and understanding with the opponent. Nonviolence does not seek to defeat the opponent. Through reasoned compromise, both sides resolve the injustice with a plan of action. Each act of reconciliation is one step closer to the beloved community. Breathe that in. A lot there. And all of it is our dream here at Unity. Hear, hear. I did a little Googling about the beloved community and found a Unity Center in the States that includes beloved community language in their vision. Do you know it? Unity Atlanta describe themselves as a beloved community, and they also go on to speak of their inclusivity commitment to all persons, reminding each other of who they are and whose they are. Everyone belongs. I have been contemplating this term, beloved community, for the last couple of weeks as I prepare for this talk, and as opportunities come up in my own life to create beloved community within my family and my psyche. I mean, if we all belong, and we do, then we need to work out a way of talking and doing that reflects our belief in this truth. We need to find creative ways of walking the walk because, as my friend Audrey Pitchford said so eloquently in her own talk at her own Unity Center, she said, "We are creative beings and we are creators." So I have an affirmation today. I am a creator of possibility. I mean, we have this dream of the beloved community, and we are creative, and we are creators. So affirm with me, and let me say it first, and then we'll say it together with some oomph. I am a creator possibility. Together, I am a creator possibility. By possibility, I mean limitless possibilities. Morning star and all the stars in the Milky Way and all the unlimited possibilities of the great universe kind of unlimited possibility. It blows through the word God kind of possibility. It's all that is possibility, beyond anything we could ever give a name. I am what I am. So possibility is another word for something new that we discover is possible for us. Or it might be a new way of doing something that we become open to. Aha. Okay. Even when the way before us is murky because we don't know yet how to speak to one another in a nonviolent way, perhaps we shut down or go, blah, 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 I don't know what to say. Yeah, right? We can put the question out there. How can I speak in a compassionate way? One that makes a friend of the other person and releases my inclination to be afraid and instantly go into judgment. I was just preparing for my class upstairs, and I went through some notes that I took at a nonviolent training session in Ann Arbor. And it talked about the method is to release the judgment and to look at the need. What's the need? You know, what would enrich my life? What would enrich your life? And these are the questions we ask ourselves. How empowering is that? When I speak my truth, personally, it is usually far from perfect. It is more aggressive than I wish. I am still learning the art of compassionate assertiveness. And yet, we need to start somewhere. It's better to start asserting ourselves and speaking our truth imperfectly than to not. And it's important to say, I'm speaking imperfectly here. I know it. Bear with me. Listen to what is underneath my words. Does that make sense? Yeah? So it's important to smooth things over and not just what and then walk away. Never tell yourself the story that it's too late to go back and make things better. Clear the air. Make things friendly. We can approach the person we spoke roughly with and express our true meaning, our true intent, our true feelings, so that our heart is laid bare and visible to the other person who is, after all, a member of our beloved community. We need to lay our cards on the table, which means we dare to be vulnerable. It doesn't always go as we hope. It hasn't for me, but mostly yes, always. And so it's worth it. Marshall Rosenberg says this in his Nonviolent Communication book. Most of us grew up speaking a language that encourages us to label, compare, demand, and pronounce judgments, rather than to be aware of what we are feeling and needing. I believe life-alienating communication is rooted in views that stress humanity's innate evil and deficiency. So that age-old original sin theory that somebody came up with a long time ago. I think he said 5,000 years ago. Marshall says that it's been around. And this is where the communication of reward, punishment, right, wrong come from. And so therefore, with this false belief, there's a need for education to control this undesirable nature that is believed to be from a lot of people. And so such education ends up leaving us questioning whether something is wrong with us, whether there's something wrong with our needs and feelings that we may be experiencing. So yeah, I agree with Marshall. The skewed way that the world has viewed our humanness is a result of false beliefs. These false beliefs have led humanity down the path of needless suffering for centuries in the form of shame, guilt, failures, and tragedy. Marshall calls, and it's so true, he calls our attempts at communication when we go at it in an aggressive way, trying to get love from another person. He calls it a tragic cry for love. And it's tragic because each of us needs love, and yet we go about sabotaging our efforts to get it because we don't know how to talk to one another or listen to one another. Pretty tragic, right? When we just keep shooting ourselves in the foot, so to speak. How's that for a violent aphorism? There's a lot of violent words in our language. Marshall goes on to say that when we are in touch with and decide to trust our feelings and needs, accept our humanness as divine and beautiful, we can no longer be controlled by others' wishes and wants, demands and judgments about what we should or should not be doing. We trust ourselves, we become our own person, we can start establishing boundaries, we can trust ourselves, and we can start learning to speak our truth. I believe this means that we can learn to navigate conflict just as easily as we can learn to navigate the whitewater rapids if we are out in that little raft and doing that. It's the same kind of thing where you're learning a skill. It's adventuresome, it's scary, it's powerful forces. Just picture that. That's what it feels like, right? When you're in a conversation that's like, I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to learn how, and I'm going to paddle harder, and or stop and find out what it is I do need to do and take a rest, and then come back and then try again. So there's a 4-step process to communicating from the heart that Marshall teaches: observing, feeling, needing, and then making a request. In the first step, we observe what's happening, what others are doing or not doing that is either enriching or not enriching my life. The trick, Marshall says, is to be able to articulate this observation without introducing any judgment or evaluation or analysis. We simply say what people are doing or not doing that we like or that we do not like. Just an observation. The trick, next, we state how we feel when we observe this action. So we state the observation, and then how do we feel right now? Check in with hurt, scared, joyful, amused, irritated. And then the third step is we say what needs of ours are connected to the feelings that we have identified. So if we're hurt, what's the need? If we're joyful, what's the need? Right away, I think of the need of connection in both of those feelings. There's a story that I'm going to be reading in my class, and it's about a mom and a teenage son. And what happens is she's gotten used to like socks being left here, there, and everywhere. And she decides she's going to practice her nonviolent communication with her teenage son. And she says, you know, when I see socks in front of the television, I feel irritated because my need is to have a tidy place, a peaceful place where we both can enjoy the atmosphere in which we both live. Would you be willing to put your socks either in the laundry or in your room? Of course, it's entirely possible that Felix isn't willing to do either of the possibilities that his mother asked. And in this case, another question she might ask is this: how can we both be comfortable? And I know I've brought this question to you before in the past when I talk about how me and my husband practice nonviolent communication. Is sometimes we forget to ask this question, but it's an important one. How can we both be comfortable? And so when she asks her son this, how can we both be comfortable, then he needs to think, okay, I need to be creative. I am a creator of possibilities. What is it that I will do? We could play tennis with them, wear the rackets. I mean, we can bring humor into this, right? And laughter breaks up a lot of tension, for sure. Use it. Use it a lot in your practicing your nonviolent communication. Anyway, you see how they're just like Martin Luther King was talking about. Both sides are talking about a problem, and they're working it out with a plan of action in a scenario where they can both be comfortable. Marshall says that although these steps are helpful in learning a compassionate communication style, there is no set formula with nonviolent communication. All 4 steps can be sometimes taken without uttering a word. Does anybody have any ideas why that is? Why NVC can be practiced without even uttering a word? Pardon me? Body language. Using your body language. Putting your hand to your heart. Yeah, that's really powerful, isn't it? Letting people know where you're coming from. I remember I was on a Zoom writing class, and we were doing some sharing because it was personal journaling, and the facilitator, you know, on Zoom, it's hard to have that connection. The facilitator would do that, put her hand to her heart, and I learned that from her because I thought it was very powerful. When she was touched, that's what she would do, and I felt the connection across the miles. Also, we're carrying the nonviolent communicative style of listening and speaking in our consciousness. So when we have that intent, there's a lot that can be communicated just with intention, and then to our body, and then to our words and our listening, and our actions, our doing. Perhaps she asked if there is a non-aggressive way to sit. And perhaps, I know one thing, if you cross your arms like this, that's a closed position, whether you're standing or sitting. So keeping your arms open is part of the body language? Yeah, good question, thanks. So how am I doing for time? I'm going to close up now pretty soon. So I'm going to go back to the point and the question, because I think it's really important to carry with you, and I'd like you to consider using this tool in your life. How can I create a new possibility in which we both, or if it's more than two people, where we all can be comfortable? These divine questions involve some divine brainstorming. So this can be done with trusted friends. It can be done with your trusted journal. It can be done with your trusted divine self in the silence. Ask the question regularly, what would enrich my life? What would make my life more wonderful? Ask regularly, what would make your life more wonderful? Of your partner, of your friend? What do you need right now? What are you feeling? How are you feeling? Try moving from how are you and the usual good to how are you feeling, and moving into something more intimate, creating the beloved community. Oftentimes, when we come to know what it is that would make our life more wonderful through the process of discernment, and then we communicate it with compassion, it blesses the other person as well, very much so. And that gets into the territory of creating loving boundaries. When we think of a boundary that would enrich our life and we communicate that with compassion, it blesses the other person too. Because when there's messiness going on, it's for both people, not just, you're not the only one suffering. So it takes courage to be the one to sort it out and then make reconciliation. We need to remember that we are much more the same than different after all. Committed couples will tell you with a knowing look what work it is to keep their relationship going full steam ahead, keeping their love healthy and strong, and yet they wouldn't have it any other way. So let us take this work of loving communication into the silence. Take some time for meditation. Relaxing your body now and just letting go of all tension, all straining to understand. Just let go of everything, breathing into your belly. Let yourself be at peace. Peace dwells within you. And that is where you go. Now, let us enter the oneness where all we know is innocence, our own innocence, others' innocence, knowing and trusting we're all doing the best that we can, knowing and trusting that there's always a love answer for every fear question, knowing and understanding, dropping deeper now. like a pebble that is dropped into the pond. You are that pebble. Let yourself fall to the bottom and sink into the sand and rest there. Completely at peace. Completely submerged in love. We go into the silence right now. Peace is all I know. Peace is all I know. Peace is with you, my friends.
Thank you, Marietta. Very nice talk. I always like listening to you. Thank you. And I'd like to take a moment to thank our wonderful musicians, Michael and his band Stardust. Always a joy.
At this time, let us take to heart our vision, mission, and statement of being, which is shown on the screen.
And we have a global vision. Will you please speak it with me? Our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And we have a sacred mission. Will you please say that with me? We inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world.
And we have a personal statement of being. Will you please say that with me? I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. We have a few announcements to let you know about. Our annual general meeting of USCW will be held immediately after service upstairs. And for you, those of you watching online, the AGM meeting will also be on Zoom, and you can find our link on our weekly newsletter.
Mariette Jones will be offering a 6-week workshop starting today, following the annual general meeting. It's called The Work of Loving Communication. Loving communication is an unlearning of old ways and training ourselves with new compassionate ways of speech and body language and intent. It is a practice that expands our relationships into ever more loving experiences. This course will be experiential. We will learn from the books during the week and practice what we have learned when we come together on Sundays.
And we have placed a barnstorming flip chart upstairs in our hospitality room. We invite you to write on it your ideas about the types of classes, seminars, workshops you would like to see us and participate in this year. If there are local speakers in alignment with our unity principles you would be interested in hearing, please let us know. Your ideas and suggestions are welcome and greatly appreciated.
Join us following the service on Sunday, February 12th, for a celebration of friendship and love with a vegetarian or vegan potluck, sponsored by the Social Committee. Please indicate if your dish is vegan. So I have these little, they look like giant toothpicks, and we can put a little sign on it, whether it's vegan or not, so I'll bring those in.
And of those of you who have not yet picked up a copy of the 2023 Lenten booklet, they are still available in the chapel foyer.
Please join us next Sunday, February 5th, as Reverend David begins a series of talks on our core values. Next week's talk title is Our Core Values, the Joy of Service.
And just a lastly reminder that we do not have a prayer chaplain today, as we are having our general meeting.
Please join us for fellowship and conversation directly after the service today in our fellowship hall upstairs.
All of our classes, programs, and services are made possible by your generous donations. Our heartfelt thanks for your continuous support. We have created many ways to easily donate, which you can find on our website.
We have a love offering box near the foyer door over here with offering envelopes and pens where you can drop in your tithe or love offering as you leave the chapel. Again, thank you and bless you for your loving and generous support.
And now we would like to invite you to stand up and let's open our hearts and minds in gratitude as we close by speaking out loud or silently to ourselves our love offering prayer, followed by the peace song and closing with the prayer of protection. Divine love in me and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Yes. I understand that you have put our prayer for protection to music.
Yes.
So we're going to do that now.
I'd just like to say the third verse, we like to throw peace of God. So just adding one little, the third one. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am light. The peace of God is in us. I am peace. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am present. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. All is
Thank you so much for that. That was beautiful. Yep. And now I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. And don't forget to hand your cards over to Judy. And have a great